Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. We're going to get started in just a few minutes, but in the meantime, please feel free to enter or let us know where you're coming from. And if this is your first time joining a Mapistry webinar, you can use the question panel in your GoToWebinar little navigation bar. We'd love to see and hear where you guys are from and if this is your first time joining us. Awesome. And good morning, Courtney.
Good morning, Celine. I'm excited to be here with you today to talk about the Modern EHS Playbook and how Mapistry can help people get set up with EHS systems that are going to save them time and reduce risk.
Yes, me too. I think we have a fun topic today and a lot to discuss, so I'm excited to dive into and to hear your perspective and share this with all our listeners today too.
It looks like we've got a couple first-timers here, so welcome. Welcome to everybody if this is your first time seeing Mapistry, and to those of you familiar, welcome back.
Yeah. Awesome. With that, let's dive into it. We just have a little bit of housekeeping. This webinar will be recorded in the slides, and the recording will be sent out to everyone after. So don't worry about taking notes. We'll get you your webinar slides after this. And then if you have any questions, again, you have that question panel in your GoToWebinar navigation that you can submit your questions to, and we'll try to answer them live, or if not, follow up after. Cool. And then with that, we'll just do a quick introduction. So my name is Celine. I'm a customer success manager here at Mapistry. I've been with Mapistry for about 1.5 years now, and I work with some of our largest clients, so our enterprise clients. And what I do is I help them onboard up to 100 or 100 plus facilities across the country, and I'm with them for their whole life cycle. So I'm really their point of contact from onboarding, implementation to launch. I really help with adoption and making sure that throughout your time with Mapistry, you're utilizing the software to its best abilities, and you're making sure that you're finding value in the software and that we're helping you maintain and update all of your things as we continue to see you grow and to grow with Mapistry. And I'm very excited about where Mapistry is heading, and I'm excited to share all of what we do and how we can support you today, and with Courtney as well.
Hello, I'm Courtney Wilson. I am a senior sales engineer here with Mapistry. I've been with Mapistry for about 2 years now, came from a traditional consulting background, helping municipalities, large companies implement their stormwater management programs. And my role here at Mapistry, I work with our sales team, and I'm going to meet with you early on in the process to understand where you're at with your program and where you want to take your program.
Awesome. And that kind of brings us to why we're here today. So Courtney, why don't you break down why we're here today and what we can expect from today's webinar?
Yeah, so we thought this would be a good time to talk about how to modernize your EHS programs. We're very excited about that Infrastructure Investment Act that was recently passed by the Senate. And, we're hoping that you are planning to really ramp up your business, and we don't want your EHS program to get in the way of that. We want a streamlined, modern process for you that is going to be scalable with your business. The next thing is the heightened regulatory scrutiny. So we know with the Biden-Harris administration that the EPA is making it a top priority to bring about environmental justice to underserved communities. So where, the operators, the facility operators are going to be under a higher level of scrutiny, that EPA wants more audits, that's going to get passed down to the local and state levels to conduct more audits. So there's going to be a real need to be ready for that level of scrutiny. And again, with that, we're also seeing this growing need to be audit ready. With COVID last year, a lot of the local regulators changed how they are conducting those facility inspections. They're moving to more of a remote system. We saw Ohio put out guidance on how to participate in remote audits, making it very clear that this is what they're planning to continue. We saw sites here in California where they learned about an audit when they went to file their annual report, they didn't even know they were audited. Of course, they passed. They would have probably known if there were deficiencies identified, but the regulators were relying on the documents that they submitted when they filed their permit and the information available on Google Earth to try and assess whether or not that site was in compliance. So we're seeing really this need to be audit ready and new tactics utilized by the regulators. And part of what me to Mapistry originally was that traditional manual EHS workflows are not sustainable. I dealt with stacks of binders in my office. I know that people don't read those plans. And I think Celine's going to kind of emphasize here what she sees when clients come onto Mapistry.
Yeah, like Courtney said, it's not sustainable right now. And what we see a lot of the time is that the clients that we bring on they have a chaotic system that is a little bit disjointed. And it's hard for them to have everything. Either they're coming in with these big binders, like Courtney said, or they have some disjointed systems of like Excel and emails and binder. So we try to really streamline it and make it a lot less stressful and a lot more cohesive and efficient for our customers. And one of our customers in particular, Courtney, if you want to go to the next slide, we'll share this story. They came in with a lot of different inspections, different people working on different parts of the system and the platform. So everything was a little disjointed, as I mentioned. And what we got to do is bring all of that together and really streamline it. This was a really fun one where Courtney got to help me break down the requirements and the reporting so that we made sure that everything that was in Mapistry and that we onboarded met all of their regulations. And really, we got to put everything into one system, which made the client really happy because it's all there. It was very clear who was responsible for what, and it made it easy for them to track and no more trying to find who's in charge of what. It's just all there for everybody.
Yeah, that was a great project to set up, and it really kind of showed the one side of Mapistry where we take really complicated sites and make them easy to manage. Celine also works with sites that are very simple to manage, but they have hundreds of different locations. So that volume of inspections is something where Mapistry can really bring value to a site.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. And then we'll be talking about how we can address this. So I'm going to hand this over to Courtney to kind of break this down a little bit more and really dive into what Mapistry does to help us address this too.
So at Mapistry, we view your modern EHS system as one that is unified, achievable, continuous, and automated. One of the things we like to do with that unified is we create the plan for each site so everybody's in agreement on what needs to be done at the site. And then it's the similar format across your entire organization. So once you know where to find information on one site, you know where to find it for all of your sites. So bringing about a kind of cohesive plan for the individual sites as well as the entire organization. We want it to be achievable. We don't want to give you a tool that can't be used. I've worked with paper, I've worked with other apps. Mapistry, of course, is my favorite. We want it to be really easy for the site personnel to get the information into the system that they're required to be collecting. It's continuous. So instead of just annual reports or quarterly reports, you have access to your information on a daily basis. You can see exactly what's happening across your organization. And then it's automated. Where we can, we've reduced the busy work from sending automatic emails after corrective actions are identified to notifications about upcoming inspections. We want to make this as easy as possible for everybody to be in compliance. So at Mapistry, our EHS playbook involves, first of all, documenting all EHS activities in the cloud. Of course, this is what we believe. We've built our platform around it. The second part of the playbook is being able to collaborate virtually. We saw COVID put us all, basically left us all stuck at home, disjointed from our teams. We know you're probably being responsible for sites, not just down the street, not just the site you go to every day, but maybe a couple sites, maybe you used to hop on a plane. We want you to be able to collaborate virtually by having all of your information in that shared space. You're going to be able to drive accountability through visibility. Your sites are going to see what's required of them. They're going to see if they've missed anything. You're going to be able to see that. We hear from customers that say, you know, it's a little bit of carrot and a stick. They want to call out the guy that's doing a great job, and they want to push the guy who is maybe behind. You're going to ensure continuity and control. So we've got our built-in systems to standardize your workflow and compliance across your organization. And finally, you're going to have that audit-ready trail. All of the information is going to be in one place. It's not going to be a yes checked here and a document somewhere else. All of the information is in Mapistry. So, Celine, you work with some of our largest clients. Can you tell me what the top performers do differently?
Yeah, like you said, the top performers are really focused on their data. They're looking at it every single day, whether that's in Mapistry or because of the notifications that Mapistry sends out with their alerts based off of things that they want to track. So they're using that data to understand who's performing well and acknowledging those people, and then who might be falling a little bit behind or needs to step it up. And then calling those people out and making plans of action based off of that. So that's like the accountability. So they really measure their accountability. They create plans based off of their data. So they understand, okay, like these facilities are struggling a little more. This is some areas we want to focus on. This is how we're going to attack that issue. And of course, we're working with them to make those plans as well. And finally, they just are using Mapistry to the fullest ability, their Mapistry to its fullest ability. And at the end of the day, they are really proactive about all of their processes and about making sure that they have a defined goal and objectives.
That's great. That's one of the areas where Mapistry really shines, is we help make it clear to your organization what the goals are and allow you to operate instead of a defensive stance where EHS kind of has historically lived on the defense side, and move you to the offense side.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
So we've got a quick question for you guys.
So I'm going to launch the poll right now. And it just asks, where could software have the biggest impact in your EHS program today? Please take a moment, answer the questions, let us know what you think, and then we will close the poll and share the answers with you all. So I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to submit. I see some coming in already. This is already very interesting to see what people are choosing. So I'll give you guys a couple more seconds and then we'll close the poll. Awesome. All right, I'm going to close the poll and then I will share these results. It looks like the top one is ensuring no missed audits, tasks, inspections. This makes a lot of sense. And then under that is analyzing EHS data, so air, water, sustainability, safety. Well, actually, the centralizing records is second, and then analyzing EHS data. And then third is analyzing inspection, completion, and rates. So that's awesome. Definitely all of these things are stuff Mapistry can help with. So it's very interesting to hear your guys' perspectives.
So now we're going to dive into the demo part of the presentation and really talk about how Mapistry's Modern EHS Playbook helps you accomplish this. So at Mapistry, we're elevating that old plan, do, check, act cycle, and we're really taking it to the next level. So we're giving you that unified plan across your organization. We are making those necessary inspections and requirements achievable, making it easy to capture that information in that centralized source. We're moving you from checking at the end of the year or checking at the end of the month to having continuous information on the health of your EHS program. And we're making it very actionable, so you can take actions in the moment to address problems as they come up. So Celine's going to talk about our onboarding process while I pull up the first demo.
Yeah, so a big part of Mapistry is understanding where you guys are at, what we can do to help you get to where you need to be, and that's part of the onboarding process. So we collect all your documents, we set up your sites based off of your regulations, based off of each state. So if you have multiple sites across each region, every region will be set up to those regulations based on that state. And then we make sure that everything is in there and you're able to use it and access all that data information.
So for those of you who it's your first time here, or maybe you haven't seen the Mapistry dashboard in a while, this is your Mapistry dashboard. This is your plan. So each one of these boxes is going to be an individual permit requirement. If you are responsible for multiple sites, you're going to see that over here. If you're responsible for just one site, you would just have one here. And so each one of these is set up to be that inspection form or that piece of information that you are collecting. And so like I said, this isn't just a yes, no checkbox. This is your inspection form is going to live in Mapistry. So we're going to open up one of these inspection forms here, and you'll be able to see, look into it. It's going to show me the questions that the inspection points that the inspector is checking. So he has his reminder on the dashboard of where that he needs to do the inspection, and then he's going to come into the form and be able to complete the inspection and know which areas he's inspecting here. So we're keeping your plan in one place, making it very clear what needs to be done, and that information is being saved in Mapistry. If you need the information to provide to a regulator, each one of those forms can be downloaded to a PDF. Let's see. Sorry, my internet was being a little picky this morning, but these forms, you can download these forms as PDFs if you ever need to share them with an auditor or share them internally. So it's going to download to a PDF you can bulk download across your site. You'll be able to keep all of that information in Mapistry. The other part of the plan, so we've got the inspection widgets. Up top, we have the, just a second to reload that. So we've got the inspection widgets up top. We have your maps can live in Mapistry as well. And you're gonna be able to keep copies of your reports in Mapistry. And let me see if it's gonna.
Yeah, and while Courtney's loading the page, you'll also have your action items section, which helps you ensure that nothing's being missed. So it's where you can create tasks. It's where you can assign inspection forms to users. It's also where you can get a high-level overview of what's going on. Even just looking at Mapistry, it's really easy to see, okay, there's some red X's, so something's been missed, whereas when there's green check marks, you know things have been completed. So very easy to ensure that nothing's being missed, and if something is being missed, you can easily identify that and try to understand what's causing that or why it's being missed. Cool.
That's ahead. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the demo of the mobile app, and Celine's going to talk about the training components of Mapistry.
Yeah, so Mapistry is really great because it's easy to use, but also we give a lot of training. So when you're onboarding, at the end of your onboarding, we train all our users on how to use Mapistry. And then we also have support documents, so product guides right there in app, as well as product videos, so videos that walk users through how to use it. And these are really helpful for all of our customers. It means that they always have access to these resources. And then with our live chat, you always have continued support, and we'll be there to help you along the way as well.
Yeah, so here in the middle of my screen is a screen share from my phone of our phone app. So you would just come into the facility that you're at today, and you'd be able to see your task list, as well as be able to click in and do the inspection right in the app. App can go into offline mode also, so if you have connectivity issues or don't want to use data while you're doing your inspection, you can go into offline mode. And again, like I said, we want to make this achievable. We want to make it easy to do. So all of this information pre-populates based on the date, time, the weathers from my location, and then I can sign off on this inspection and just save and continue. And it's just going to walk me through the punch list of activities. So it's going to ask me about my environmental areas and my BMPs throughout the site. In the app, I can add a task. So if I saw something at the site, I can record that, and I can add a task. Let's see, so overfilled dumpsters. Using the built-in microphone from my phone, call Waste Management to pick up dumpsters early this week. I can assign people to this task. I can assign multiple people to this task. I can give it a due date. Maybe I want it done by this Friday. If I want, I can take pictures right from my phone. So I've got my calendar kind of here. Take a picture from my phone, and it's going to save this task. And what's really great, and we're talking about reducing that, making things automated, this task is now going to go out in an email form to the individuals that I tagged in it. So they're going to get something that looks like this, where it's going to tell them that a stormwater inspection was done and that these are the corrective actions that were assigned to them. So it's saving you time. Mapistry can become your communication tool, making it something that you take from the field. It's sent out directly to the other people at the site that need to know. So no longer is a paper form sitting in somebody's truck for a couple days before you hear about the issues at the site. The next part of that continuous EHS improvement cycle is going to be is continuous. So Celine, you want to talk about how people use our dashboards, and I'll pull up the next demo?
Yeah. So one thing about Mapistry is that we really love data, and what we have done is created this analytics dashboard that allows you to really view inspection completions, task completion, log completions, as well as drill down and get a deeper dive into what's being missed. So what are those tasks that are overdue? Who's assigned to them? When was the due date? How many days overdue is it? And really understand your data. So you're not just looking at numbers, you're looking at numbers and also have the information behind it and what might be driving those things, so that you're able to address them and help use that data to improve performance and ultimately improve your program.
Yeah, we're really excited about our dashboards here at Mapistry. They're easy to look at, and they're easy to get a lot of information out of. So we've got like some pretty pictures here that's telling me how many have been completed on time, how many are past due. I can come down here to maps kind of at the site level, and it'll tell me which sites are performing well, which sites are underperforming. From the map information, I can click on it, get access to the Mapistry administrator's email or their phone number, This is your internal person, so you would know who is responsible for keeping Mapistry up to date at the site and be able to call them right away if there's something you don't like. And then we have those tasks, so those corrective actions that I was recording from the app. All of these pieces of data have drill down functions, so I can click into that tasks and see all the tasks that have been created across my organization and start to get an idea of what are people seeing. Are there problems that we're seeing over and over again, or are these problems maybe all different? I can even go back into here and see, like, okay, my uncovered or my trash in the inlet, what was going on there? So this allows me to have that virtual collaboration. I can kind of dial it up or down. I can take the high level approach and see, like, okay, are things going good? And I can drill into back into individual inspection points to see what exactly was happening when they created this task and what does the photo look like that's associated with this task. Which I think is really exciting, because then it's not being left in a paper form where the information's not getting used. It's now somewhere where you can be proactive and use your information. So we can see this task is coming up. I can see who it was assigned to. I can see the photos that were taken with it. So yeah, and you can use it like when you're doing your annual reporting at the end of the year, if you need to write up what types of issues were being found at your site. You know, if you're using this for air and you're doing your semi-annual reporting, you can get your list of air deficiencies right out of this list, saving you a lot of time. And then the last part of that continuous, that EHS cycle is going to be making all of this actionable.
Yeah. And this is probably my favorite part, because this is for our enterprise clients where I get to work the closest with them. So we do quarterly business reviews with our enterprise clients, where I really sit down, go through their data, and use that data to have a conversation about their company-wide objectives and how Mapistry is either helping them move towards them or other things that we need to do to make sure that they're hitting their objectives, that we're getting these inspections completed on time, and we're ensuring that nothing's been missed. So it's really a fun conversation that I get to have with each customer and understand where they are during that quarter and where they want to be next quarter and help them achieve those goals. And it's really just a collaborative partnership. And I think it's something that makes Mapistry really special, because we get to work so closely together. And by this point, I usually know my customers pretty well. So it's fun to see how they've grown and to have those discussions, as well as to help them achieve new goals.
Yeah, I think that is one of our very valuable aspects, is we can complete this, help you complete this circle. So we can take it from your plan back to making it actionable. So if there are, you know, you come to that quarterly review, there's new things you want to be tracking in Mapistry, or if you want changes made to your plan, this is a very flexible system that allows you to iterate to continue to drive your EHS program forward.
Exactly.
So bringing it all together, kind of, this is our little summary slide. You know, we're talking about EHS intelligence to allow you to make those, to be proactive, drive accountability, and create collaboration. We have those controls and compliance. Mapistry, you know, my background is environmental compliance. One of, you know, our co-founder Ryan's background is environmental compliance. We've got a team of people who know what you're supposed to be doing that can help you build in those controls, those checks, those notifications into Mapistry that you need, so that you're not going to miss what's required of you. We've got the intelligent automation. Again, you're not losing papers in a binder, you're not missing an email. Those actions are going to be logged in Mapistry. We are going to push the notifications to your email, but you're also going to be able to see it in Mapistry. And then finally, a little forward-looking is the integrations and connections, and these are things that we're starting to run some proof of concepts around, bringing in data streams directly like from their source at your company. So whether this is maybe like your production data or your flow data, things that are being recorded somewhere else that we can pull into Mapistry so that we can give you that complete picture of your EHS compliance in Mapistry. So with that, we're going to just leave it here and open it up for some questions.
Yeah, again, just a reminder, feel free to add questions to the panel on your GoToWebinar control panel. And it looks like we already have a couple. So Courtney, I'm just going to read the first one we got in. It just says, how does Mapistry set itself apart from other EHS systems? And I think this is a fantastic question. Do you want to take this one?
Sure. I think, some of the ways we really set ourselves apart is, first, like Celine talked about, through forming that partnership with you. The second is by keeping the information in Mapistry. Like we hear from people that are sometimes using other systems where maybe they're just getting a yes/no answer out of that system. We make it incredibly easy to get your data into Mapistry and back out of Mapistry so that you can use it in the way that benefits you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think nail on the head right there. From the same person, they're in the mining and materials manufacturing industry, and they wanted to know if Mapistry can work and support the mining and materials manufacturing industry or other industries. He works with mining industry and chemicals, and would like to see if we can support that.
Yeah, we work, Celine could talk about it. We work with a number of mining industries and mining companies already. Some of the specific things that were built with the mining industry in mind is the ability to take it into offline mode, knowing that you are going to need to be able to complete your inspections without access to data. So the offline mode was something we built into Mapistry really specifically at a request from a mining customer. And again, this is a highly flexible system. So, we love to hear exactly like I said at the beginning, my job is to hear like where you're at today and where you want to go. And then we can work with you to get Mapistry to take you from where you are today to where you want to go.
Yeah, and I think just to add on to that, one thing that we've been really making sure that we're able to do is customize our forms, our sites to meet your needs. So like everything Courtney said, we definitely are able to customize and fit your needs. And we've worked with mining facilities before too. So we're happy to chat more too if you're interested in Mapistry. Cool, we're getting some more questions in. I guess, Courtney, do you have any specific examples of how concrete or cement manufacturing companies are using analytics?
Are using analytics? Yeah, I could talk about that. I feel like you could also talk about that one too, because I know you do our quarterly check-in. So you might have more insights like about how our specific ready-mix companies are using analytics.
Yeah, yes, I can definitely take this one. One thing that our customers really love is the alerts. So one of our customers who's in the cement industry uses the alerts to track their overdue inspections based off of area. So they have a significant number of facilities all across the United States, and what they're really doing is wanting to look at it area by area. And so they set up alerts that come out, I think it's weekly, and the alerts are based off of the filters for each area. He gets a new alert and is able to customize the name, who gets sent this alert. So one thing, he sends it to some non-Mapistry users. So one thing that's really awesome about the analytics is that it allows you to email your analytics and set these reports and alerts up so that non-Mapistry users are able to see them too. So some of his VPs and other people who are curious but don't need to be into Mapistry on a day-to-day basis receive these reports as well and can monitor and help understand what's happening, so a little bit more visibility into each area and each site specifically.
Well, that's really cool. So I was pulling up, while Celine was talking, I was pulling up like how you create notifications. And this, again, like I was talking about, this is a really flexible system. So as part of the onboarding, our success team will help you get these notifications set up. But what I'm showing you right now is something that you would have access to. So if you want to change your notification, if maybe you thought weekly was good, but you find out maybe monthly is better, like that's flexibility you have in your hands to change those. You can add new notifications, and again, you can add who they're going to. So if somebody, at your company's like, hey, I really like that email, can I get a copy of it too? You can add them just to this list, and they don't even have to know how to use Mapistry. They're just going to get an email that tells them that important piece of information at the frequency they want to receive it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of ways to use your data and to customize it. I know another customer, if you scroll down to tasks, Courtney, pulls all of their tasks, so that total task list, and prints it out as a Excel document. So when you do your drill in, you'll see that Excel. And he's able to share that report on a quarterly basis with his team to look at all the tasks that they're creating. And then it shows you when they've been completed, if they've been completed, and what are overdue. And this is super helpful for his team specifically, and helps them understand what tasks are being created and where they are right now. And then they'll use that data in the future to kind of compare where they were and where they are now. So I think that's a great way to use this part of the dashboard as well.
Yeah, and that's like another really cool aspect is that it's just really easy to get it back out of Mapistry. So it's not something that's like locked up, and you can download any of these things to CSVs, Excel files. You can download just the print image. There's a lot of export options from our database.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we have another question, but it's switching gears a little bit, Courtney. Somebody asked to explain the offline mode. They didn't quite understand what offline mode meant. So do you want me to take this one, or would you like to take this one?
Yeah, go ahead, Celine.
Yeah, so offline mode is basically in your mobile app, you can set it so that you're not connected to Wi-Fi or internet, like your data. That way you can complete the forms if you have spotty internet. So sometimes what might happen is when you're going out there, and if you have a little bit of data being used, it's hard to connect, and then the app moves slower. So you can force offline mode without totally going in and turning everything to airplane mode on your phone. And then you can complete your inspection forms right there in the field without having to take notes and go back and complete it on a computer, or to try to struggle through like a slow connection. That's really the gist of offline mode. And it's something that's really important to our customers, because a lot of them have very large facilities and might be in the middle of nowhere with no service and need to complete an inspection form. So it allows a lot of flexibility for them.
Yeah, and then when you take it off of offline mode back to online mode, it's going to sync back to that Mapistry dashboard. So then that inspection will show up in your dashboard. It is I've used it in offline mode. It comes in really handy, especially with the pictures. If you want to capture a lot of pictures, offline mode is going to be really useful.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of photos and a lot of tasks is helpful too with offline mode. Switching gears again, Courtney, will Mapistry let you or a user know if you have exceeded a permit limit? So this kind of goes back to some of the polls we had today about your limits, ensuring that you're not missing anything. So you want to jump into that one.
Up an example there, but with Mapistry, so you've got your, yes, no's about your permits, about your inspection forms, but there's also the ability to keep your analytical data in Mapistry, so for stormwater or air permits. And when we build out Mapistry, we're going to set that up with your specific permit limits in Mapistry. And then it is going to send you notifications from the app if you're getting close to your limits or if you have exceeded any of those limits. I do, yeah. So yeah, it is gonna, for a number of the state like industrial stormwater permits, we've got those built in to Mapistry for you already. And then if you have individual permits, we can customize your limits, and you're gonna get emails if you've exceeded any of those limits, or if they're like annual limits and you're trending over those limits, you're gonna see that information in Mapistry as well. Typically shows up this site if I was exceeding stuff. So it's going to send you an email notification, then it would also keep a nice little running log here for you of how you're trending for the year.
Yeah. One thing too is with our logs, we can set up custom limits. So if there's like something that you're logging that has a limit, we're able to set that up so that you can track it and track it on a specific, like if you have want to track it on an annual basis, you have an annual limit that you can't exceed, we'll have that there. And like Courtney's showing, you can see that they're getting close to their limit for diesel emissions, and that will send you a notification too that you're getting close to that limit, and then it'll let you know when you've exceeded that limit as well.
Yeah, it's a really powerful system that is going to keep you designed really to keep you ahead of those like, oh no, shoot, we're at the end of the year and we realized we like blew through our permit like 6 weeks ago. So it's really designed to be help you take that really proactive stance in your compliance.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting some more questions in. So, we're going to switch gears again, Courtney. We're just rapid fire questions. This person is asking about, I think this is task specific, but the issues that are picked during the inspections, can you spool them out into PDFs with the pictures? Can you show a sample? And so quick answer is yes, all of your inspections are downloadable into PDFs. If they're a log, they're downloadable into Excel. So Courtney can pull up an example of one of these forms. All of your pictures will also download, and your tasks will download as well.
I apologize, I don't know if I have one with pictures in it, but what you can do, you can download the individual inspection here. And this will download this one to a PDF. And if there are pictures in the inspection, it comes out in the PDF download. You can also bulk download all of your inspections. So, with that kind of audit preparedness, if an inspector, you get the email that says send us all of your inspections, you can bulk download the date range that they give you and send them. So if this one had photos with it, the tasks and photos show up in this section. So you can have those PDF copies of all the information from your Mapistry inspection available to you.
Yeah. And it's super nice to have both the digital and the hard copy if you need it. But you don't always have to keep that paper on hand with Mapistry. I've also heard users, when they're audited, they just pull up Mapistry if they're on site, and the auditor just says, okay, let's look at this and let's go through it together. So sometimes you get lucky and you don't even have to print it out, and you get to show them Mapistry's dashboard. But other times you do, and we're going to help with that as well. Cool. We have another question that came in from Courtney. This is, again, a little different, but do you have any customers doing sustainability reports right now?
So we are doing a couple pilot programs around collecting the sustainability data. So we're working with customers, really kind of proof of concept, test out how easy it is to get in their sustainability data, as well as we've got a number of customers who are already doing their air emissions tracking in Mapistry. So, taking that to the next level and making sure we're not just getting the permit required calculations done, but taking that same information and doing the calculations for the greenhouse gas emissions. So we are working, the air data, we've got your data like in here, and then getting it translated to those sustainability metrics is something we are completely capable of doing and are starting to pilot out with a couple of companies.
Yeah, and on a similar topic, somebody asked if we do safety or MSHA tags, and I'm assuming forms too. And I think that's very similar where we can customize forms to meet safety needs. We've definitely created safety forms for customers based off of what they're required to do, and it's something we're starting to dive a little deeper into it, I'd say.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll give people a couple more minutes to add other questions. And then otherwise, I think we've hit all of our questions. Courtney, any last thoughts, or we have a couple minutes left? Any last words, I guess, of advice or things you want to plug about Mapistry?
No, yeah, my last piece of advice is just, to really take the time now to think about how you want to shape your EHS program going forward. We hope you're all going to be a lot busier in the future, and that if you have the time now to transform your program, take that time. If it feels like you've already got a lot going on, we can help with that transformation. That is what Celine's team is here to do, is to bring about that transformation for your company.
Yeah, and just to echo everything Courtney said, Mapistry is all about helping you exceed and be successful with software. We're never going to just try to throw you in there and let you figure it out on your own. We're going to really customize, set it up so that you are meeting all of your requirements. You're not missing anything. You're notified and updated, and you understand the software and are able to use it and analyze your data based off of that. So we're very powerful software. We have a lot of features coming in the future, but we're also, what we have right now is really strong, and it's super exciting to see customers take it to the next level and really succeed with us, especially our big customers who are trying to manage 100+ sites across the country with different regulations. So being able to help with that is honestly like a privilege and an honor, and I love working with our customers, and I think everybody who has an EHS program deserves to have it a little less stressful and a little less chaotic, and hopefully in one system at the end of the day. Yeah, awesome. With that, I think we can close out this webinar. There was no more questions that came in. So thank you so much, Courtney, for joining. This was a pleasure to talk to you about this. Mapistry and software is one of my favorite topics, so it was a joy to hear your side of it. And thank you everybody for joining. This is really fun to have your answers or your questions and get to answer them as well. And again, these recordings will be sent out to everybody. So look for an email from us later today or this week. Awesome. All right, bye everyone.